Hola chicos, we are going to finish our notes that we started on the verb estar. If you remember way back a couple of weeks ago, we took notes over how to conjugate the verb estar. Here are the conjugations. We practiced doing so, and we noticed that every time we used the verb estar, we were talking about either a location or we were discussing health or feelings. Remember down here, están enfermas? They're sick, right? En la cafetería, that's a location, in the cafeteria. So we're going to talk today about the differences between the two verbs of ser, which means to be, and estar, which means to be. So since we have two ways to say I am, we have estoy and we have soy, which comes from the verb ser, right? Two ways to say you are, tú estás, or if you use ser, tú eres, él, ella, usted es, nosotros somos, and ellos, ellas, ustedes son. When are we going to know which way to use or which one to use? Well, with these ideas, okay? Location and feelings, we're going to use estar. So flip your page over and let's do those notes. Okay, so now on this back side, we're going to come down here. Don't worry about all the writing I've done over here. That's just to help the notes go faster. We're going to go right here. Ser versus estar. Remember, both of these verbs mean to be. So if they both mean to be, how am I going to know when I'm going to use each? Do I just pick whichever one I want? No, we're going to have rules. When you want to use the verb estar, that is going to be because you have one of three situations. You're speaking about emotions, you're speaking about location, or you're speaking about feelings. We call that elf. When you're talking about, or when you're using the verb ser, it's because you're going to be talking about either a day or a date, an origin, a characteristic, you're going to be telling the time, or maybe someone's occupation or ID, or finally a relationship. So to remember when to use ser, we think of the word doctor. Elf for estar, doctor for ser. Let's take a look at some of these sentences we already have. Estoy en casa. I am at home. We're using estar because this is a location. Whoops, right here, location. En casa, right? We don't say soy en casa. We say estoy en casa. Marisol está al lado de Felipe. She is next to Felipe. That also is a location. Juan Carlos está enfermo hoy. This is no longer a location. This is a feeling because enfermo means sick. ¿Cómo estás, Jimena? How are you, Jimena? I'm not asking where she's at. I'm asking how she is. How are you feeling? Right? A feeling. She says, estoy muy bien. I'm really well, thank you. That is a feeling. So now stop for a moment and grab your pink vocab list. In the bottom left-hand side of our pink vocabulary list, we have the section called Los Sentidos, feelings, right? So these are the words we know for feelings, or you might consider them emotions. Bien is good. Regular is okay, or so-so. Más o menos is another way to say so-so. Mal is bad. Enfermo o enferma is sick, and cansado o cansada is going to be tired. Those are the words that we're going to use to describe our feelings. Now we know there are a lot more, but this is what we're going to start with. Good, okay, so bad, sick, and tired. Okay, so let's write these out. Remember, elf, emotions, location, and feelings. Okay. Now let's look at doctor. First of all, let's look at our examples. Hola, soy Maru. Hi, I'm Maru. Now we're talking about identification, right? We are telling who we are, an identification. Or we can also lump it in to occupation. Who I am, what I do, that's my identification. Soy estudiante. I'm a student. Okay, this is what I do. This is my occupation, right? ID and occupation go together. Eres de Mexico. Are you from Mexico? That de gives it away. This is origin. Right? Where someone is from. And so is this one. Soy de Mexico. Yes, I'm from Mexico. We're talking about origin. So we're not going to say, si estoy de Mexico. That sounds great. I am from Mexico. But estar is for emotions, locations, and feelings. So we can't use it to talk about where we're from. Son las 4. It's 4 o'clock. This is time. Okay, so let's go back and remember what doctor stands for. So spell out your letters. Okay, doctor. The first D is for the day or the date, right? So if you want to say today is Wednesday, you'd say hoy es miércoles. Sorry about that. Today is the 29th. Hoy es el 29. We're using the verb ser. The O here can be for origin. So origin is where we're from, right? What word do we need to see in that phrase? Do you remember? Right. You're going to see de. ¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres? Yo soy de. The C is for characteristic. And we don't know too many of these right now. Okay? That would be like, la señora Henke es desorganizada. She's disorganized. That's a characteristic. La señora Henke es loca. She's crazy. That's a characteristic when you go to describe someone. The T is for time. And we already know that. To tell time, we have two phrases, right? We have like es la una or son las 8, 9, 10. That's the use of the verb ser. The second O, our first one was origin. This one will be occupation. And remember, in Spanish, your occupation is who you are. It's also like an identification, an ID. And we have one of those here. Hoy. Hola, soy Maru. I'm Maru. I'm telling you who I am. Okay, I could say, soy maestra. I'm teacher. In Spanish, we don't say the in front of it. Soy estudiante. I'm student. Right? I'm identifying myself. And the last one is relationship. The relationship. Now, relationship, I've always thought the R was not a good way to do this, but doctor helps us, right, to remember the acronym. This is possession. Remember that we can't say apostrophe S. We can't say Jorge's libro. We have to say el libro de Jorge, the book of George. I can't say George's sister, Jorge's hermana. I have to say the sister of Jorge, right? So the relationship between Jorge and the sister, right? To whom she is a sister. We get a whole bunch of des again, don't we? Just like we did in origin. Okay, so looking at these, let's try this next activity. Okay, número 1. ¿Cómo es o está usted, señor Pérez? Okay, so we're asking, how are you? Okay, we know that this should be ¿cómo está? It comes automatically, right? Now, in retrospect, you see why. Because we are asking about a feeling, how someone is feeling, right? ¿Cómo está usted, señor Pérez? He says, hola, soy regular, gracias, or estoy regular. Well, our key word here is regular. Regular is okay. That's a feeling. So we're going to use estoy, the F of elf. Número 2. ¿Dónde son or dónde están los estudiantes? So we're asking, where are the students? Okay, so is this asking a question from doctor or a question from elf? Where are the students? We see immediately that it is a location. Where are they, right? So we need están. La clase de arte es or está cerca de la oficina. Okay, it is close to the office. Well, a preposition of location is going to tell us we're talking about location. So we'll say está. Juana y Maru no son en clase or no están en clase. Dead giveaway, en. This is location again. Are we going to get anything other than location? Ellas son muy enfermas or ellas están muy enfermas. Finally, something that's not location. Enfermas, what does that mean? Sick. That's a feeling. So, we're stuck with another estar. Están muy enfermas. Número 5. ¿Cómo te llamas? Yo soy Jorge or yo estoy Jorge. Our key here is Jorge. Jorge is our identification, right? We're telling who someone is. We are identifying them. So we need to use the verb ser. So that would be yo soy Jorge, finally. Not an estar. ¿Nosotros somos al lado de la ventana or estamos al lado de la ventana? Look for your key. That would be al lado de, which is a location. We need estar. La señora Henke y la señora Ingle son profesoras de español or están profesoras de español. Our key here is profesoras de español. That is an occupation. So we're going to go with the verb ser. They are, son. Tú necesitas caminar a clase. You need to walk to class. Because, porque eres las 9 or estás las 9? Because you are 9? No, guys. Just because you see a tú right here, you need to walk, does not mean that we are going to be looking for tú. We're telling time. You know it's going to be over here, a use of ser, and we know that time only goes with either es or son. So do we say es las 9 or son las 9? Right. It's going to be son las 9. We're telling time. ¿Son ustedes los estudiantes or están ustedes los estudiantes? Los estudiantes is the key here, right? Los estudiantes would be an occupation or an identification. So we need the form of ser. But what form is it going to be? Well, de ustedes. So we get son. Are y'all the students de Capen? Are y'all the students from Capen? No, no somos los estudiantes de Capen. Or no, no estamos los estudiantes de Capen. Same thing, right? Capen students. We are not Capen students. That is not my identification. We need somos. And finally, tú y Laura son de Goddard, or tú y Laura están de Goddard. This one's tricky. You see Goddard, and you think, location. Okay, we're saying that you and Laura are in Goddard. Well, no. What's de mean? Right, it means from. You and Laura are from Goddard. That's origin. So, de Goddard tells us that we are talking about origin. Tú y Laura son de Goddard. That's the end of your notes. Thank you.